and the rest of your party, I'm more proud to be a Republican. You keep saying that we're not safer, but yeah, we don't have the Twin Towers anymore. Over 3,000 innocent lives were killed because Clinton was so busy with Lewinsky having adultery. A lot of Americans, our brave men and women, were killed during his time, and he did nothing about it. And you keep saying we are not safer. We are safer. Our economy is good. Unemployment, if you want to work, you can work. If you don't want to work, you depend on the government like Democrats, you're going to be complaining.
Thank you.
Anybody here can make money. Anyway, I'm retired, but I still have yard sales. I go out and buy stuff to resell. I'm never broke.
Caller, thanks. Mexican-American there painting a positive picture.
Well, I'm good. I say good for him. I'm delighted he's doing well. I disagree with him strongly about the reasons 9/11 occurred and what we need to do about it. I disagree with him, obviously, about the circumstances. Don't ask those of us who may have a bias. Look at the 9/11 Commission. Just ask the 9/11 Commission, what were your evaluations so far of this administration's record? And using letter grades, they gave them C's, D's, and F's. And so, obviously, it's not something we're proud of. I'd like to think that our country could be stronger and better and more secure. But unless we follow some objective criteria by which to judge what they are, we delude ourselves. And I'm afraid, in this case, the caller may not be thinking about these issues as clearly as I wish he would.
Down to our last couple of minutes. You going to run for president?
I haven't made any decisions, any announcements. I think there's a big field out there, Paul, and it's exciting to see what's going to happen.
Have you thought about it?
I've given it some thought, yes.
Were you surprised to hear that Senator Obama has opened a door for a run in 08? He said that on Meet the Press yesterday.
I actually wasn't surprised. I think that because of the tremendous amount of enthusiasm and support that Senator Obama has around the country, you'd be foolish not to give it some very careful thought, which, not surprisingly, he is. I think that it's appropriate, and I hope he does make a very thoughtful evaluation of whether a race at this point makes sense or not.
Is Senator Hillary Clinton a lock on the nomination, do you think?
I think even Senator Clinton would tell you that she's not a candidate yet, and it's hard to say. I don't think anyone has a lock on it. It's way too early for that. We've got to get past this election and decide what the field looks like. But I think it could be a very competitive race this year or next cycle.
Last call, Jonesboro, Louisiana, for Tom Daschle. Good morning.
Good morning. How y'all gentlemen doing?
How are you?
First of all, I'm doing fine. I apologize for that last call, Senator Daschle. I'm a great admirer of yours. I'm just as far south as I could be, almost. I'm down in Louisiana, but we do miss your voice in Washington. Hope you return soon. But I do want to make 2 points, if you'll bear with me. Firstly, and you'll have to help me out a little bit with this. I heard actually Dr. DeWice. I believe she's running Ohio, Pennsylvania. I know Mr. Murtha was there with her, talking about the body armor, and Rove, Cheney, Rumsfeld, Bush, never served in the military, sending the troops over there, not needing what they need and all. And it reminded me, as I listened to an old line from a movie, I believe it was Network and Peter Finch, and you'll have to excuse me here, but what's my language? He said, I'm as mad as H, I'll put it that way, I'm as mad as, and you fill in the other 3 letters, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And I just wonder if the Democratic Party would kind of take that tack. If I know you have to take the high road, but we're kind of going along, getting along, and just come out. She did all but that, and I thought it was excellent. She made great points. And secondly, here in Louisiana, I myself had wanted to run here in my district for Congress, and was basically, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, I'm 48 years old, for Congress, and was basically snubbed by the party in a manner of speaking. And you know, I felt like I had a lot to offer, good ideas, and even more better solutions.
Thanks. Last comment from our guest.
Well, I would say I hope you do run. I mean, you don't need any party endorsement. In fact, oftentimes if you run against the party entrenched leadership, you can do very well. People have done that all over the country. So I'd encourage you to participate and be engaged and look at the possibility of a candidacy down the road. With regard to your first point, you're absolutely right with regard to body armor. We had a serious body armor issue in terms of its available supply, and it was only because of the insistence of many of our colleagues in the Congress that we were able to ultimately deal with this issue a lot more effectively. But thanks for calling.
Any prediction for Election Day in terms of the number of seats your party is going to gain in each body?
I would say at this point, Paul, we're going to pick up somewhere around 25 seats in the House, and today I'm predicting picking up 7 in the Senate. It looks awfully good.
Tom Daschle spent 8 years in the House, 18 years in the Senate, was Majority Leader from 2001 to 2003, Democrat from South Dakota. Thanks a lot for your time this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Tonight, our Campaign 2006 coverage looks at 4 Senate races, starting with a debate from Wyoming at 8 Eastern. Then New York Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton debates Republican opponent John Spencer at 9. Next to Florida, where Democratic incumbent Bill Nelson faces Republican Representative Katherine Harris at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then Connecticut, where incumbent Democrat Joe Lieberman, running as an independent, faces Ned Lamont, who defeated him in the Democratic primary, and Republican Alan Schlesinger. That debate at 11 Eastern here on C-SPAN. Up next, a discussion on U.S. global power and influence over the past 4 centuries. From today's Washington Journal, this is about 40 minutes.
Our guest now, Robert Kagan, who writes for the Weekly Standard, New Republic, contributing editor for those publications, also author of this new book. It's called Dangerous Nation, America's Place in the World from its Earliest Days to the Dawn of the 20th Century. And Mr. Kagan, you're right that in terms of foreign policy, the U.S. has this self-image, the way it looks at itself, that really largely is a myth. What do you mean?
Well, I think Americans generally, and myself at some point before I did some extensive research, view America as essentially isolationist, certainly at its birth, generally throughout its early history, but even beyond, minding its own business unless someone comes in and attacks it or poses some threat, and then we go out and deal with it. The city on a hill, Washington's farewell address, and that. And it is mostly myth. If you think about going back even to the time of the Puritans, America has been an expansionist nation really for 400 years, first expanding territorially, commercially, ideologically, in terms of its influence, and I think that's a reality that Americans sometimes forget.
Give us some historical examples about how America has been expansionist from those very, very early days.
Sure. I mean, even the Puritan settlers, and we think of them as building a shining city on a hill, which, you know, they certainly wanted to do, but in the course of their development, they also went to war with every neighboring Indian tribe, did tremendous territorial expansion in their region. But the whole story of colonial America is one of expansion and even imperialism. Perhaps one of the greatest imperialists of our history was Benjamin Franklin. He was a British imperialist. He wanted Britain to seize the lands of the Ohio Valley from France, to seize Canada from France. George Washington wanted to spread out across the country, across the North American continent. You remember someone like John Quincy Adams? He said that America was destined by the finger of God to belong to the American people, that North America, the whole continent, was destined to belong to Americans.
Taking this to present day, you write in the New Republic that from 89 to 2003, 1989 to 2003, a 14-year period spanning 3 very different presidencies, the U.S. deployed large numbers of troops or engaged in extended campaigns of aerial bombing and missile attacks on 9 different occasions. Panama, Somalia, Haiti, Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq, of course, in 2003. That's an average of 1 significant military intervention every 19 months. That's the greatest frequency of any time in our history.
Yeah.
Speak to it more.
Well, you know, we think of ourselves as a peace-loving people, and we are a peace-loving people, but at the same time, we have a strong martial tradition. No modern democracy considers electing generals more often than we do. In Europe, it's inconceivable to nominate a military man for office. We think about it all the time, whether it's Colin Powell or Wes Clark. And for a nation that does love peace,